the administration talked about how the Bashar Assad regime is a heinous criminal organization that gasses their own people. I think from an international community standpoint, this is the multiple times that he's used chemical weapons on his own people, which is horrid, inconceivable to us, sitting here in the United States. Just wanted to ask your guest how she feels about the previous administration and how much responsibility they have for creating the situation for today.
The previous administration, I don't believe, has responsibility for creating the situation today. I think the mistakes that we made is that we did not have a comprehensive strategy, nor did we have a plan. We did not, I think, effectively engage with the international community, as we're not doing now, to come up with a solution. I say that Assad is a war criminal and he should be held accountable before the International Criminal Court. That should be part of this.
Do you think we can engage with Vladimir Putin and Russia, who are playing a key role in Syria right now?
If we can't, because they vetoed the resolution a couple of days ago in terms of the inspections, but we have to circle the wagons. We have to go around Russia if, in fact, we cannot get engaged with them. But we've got to have an international solution, and we can't say just because Russia is outside of the world community in terms of the response that we're not going to engage in a diplomatic fashion. And so I think we need to learn from the mistakes of the past, but we have to see an international response as being absolutely essential. Otherwise, in another year, we're going to be right here. We're going to see more chemical attacks. The use of force, military action is not going to stop Assad from doing what he is doing. And we have to really recognize that and with a new way to try to finally bring some peace and stability to the region.
Has the United Nations proven to be effective here?
Well, the United Nations needs to really do more, I believe, through the inspections process, and needs to be, I think, the facilitator to try to make sure that we, as part of the UN, should bring the countries together to come up with a comprehensive strategy. We can't do it alone, and I think the UN is a proper place to begin to try to help come to some resolve and to bring Assad to justice. And I think that's essential in whatever strategy we come up with. But yes, the UN needs to do more.
Cal is in New York City, a Democrat. Good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning. Hello, Ms. Lee. I guess I really want to seriously disagree with, I think, what I understood an earlier caller. I think it was just the previous caller, and I'm calling on the Democratic line. I love you. I dig you. I'm with you. I'm on the left, but I have to seriously disagree with what I thought was your response to an earlier caller about how the earlier administration, the Obama administration, was not responsible for the current mess in Syria. I think that they were absolutely, positively responsible. I feel that, and I'm totally complicit in that guilt. It was me and a lot of people in Congress, right on up to Obama, who felt that in the wake of the Arab Spring, in the wake of what happened in Egypt and what happened in Libya, that if a internal revolt happened in Syria, that the internal people of Syria would handle it themselves, and we decided to not do anything. And that initial decision is what caused the mess that we are in now. In regards to Syria, also, I would just like to ask you, Ms. Lee, could possibly connect, your stance, the left stance on Syria to the midterm elections. And it just really makes me feel uneasy as somebody who is definitely on your side and loves you and digs you, how to hand over correcting this mess to those of us who felt initially that Obama would solve the Syrian crisis basically based on the essence of his coolness, and how we are politically impotent to do anything right now on that because of those initial mistakes.
Well, thank you for that question and statement. But okay, there were mistakes, I think, made, but I don't think inserting ourselves in a civil war in Syria would have stopped Assad. Secondly, you know, arming the opposition, for example, and that was one of the previous administration's policies and positions, and I did not support that, because in arming the opposition, we did not even know who the opposition groups were. Some could be Al-Qaeda, and the weapons that U.S. taxpayers pay for landed in the hands of those who were using them against the people of Syria. And so there were several, I think, mistakes made, but I think overall, not engaging in a war in Syria was the correct thing to do. We needed to have a stronger, I think, international strategy, and we needed to work with the world community in a more robust and aggressive fashion. But the going back and forth about military action and engaging in a civil war, I don't think would have brought Assad to justice, and I think we would have been even more deeply involved in a part of the world where people are still saying, what is our national security interest in Syria? Of course, I believe that we have to stop the human disaster, and we have to make sure that people's lives are saved and that we help bring some semblance of security to the region. But for the life of me, I think the American people really need to have a clear understanding of what the United States national security interests are. And I think President Obama, you know, had to be very careful, because we could have been more deeply involved in the Civil War, which I hope at this point we don't get involved in.
We have less than 2 minutes left. We spent the first hour of our program today talking about the excerpts and the reviews that have come out about James Comey's book that's coming out next week. The president, during this discussion you and I have been having, tweeted about James Comey. 2 tweets. Here's what he said this morning. James Comey is a proven leaker and liar. Virtually everyone in Washington thought he should be fired for the terrible job he did until he was, in fact, fired. He leaked classified information for which he should be prosecuted. He lied to Congress under oath. He is a weak and untruthful slimeball who was, as time has proven, a terrible director of the FBI. His handling of the crooked Hillary Clinton case and the events surrounding it will go down as one of the worst botched jobs of history. It was my great honor to fire James Comey. How do you feel about James Comey?
Well, first, how presidential is that tweet? Come on, slimeball. I mean, this is just horrible to have a president tweeting like this about anyone. You know, with regard to James Comey, I would look forward to reading the book, quite frankly. And I think, and hopefully the investigations will continue, and we will make some decisions, see what, in fact, the facts uncover as it relates to the firing of James Comey. But I think, personally, that was a move to undermine whatever investigation was taking place within the FBI, and the president was wrong in doing that.
We'll come back. We can talk more about it down the road. Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Democrat from California, appreciate the time.